The Mirror plugin is a one-trick pony, and that one trick is that the plugin only exists to do the reversed delay reverb technique. If you have never heard of the reversed reverb delay trick, it is a delay on an audio track which is reversed and happens before the actual audio track.
Your rails, your thin paper wings.
Normally you will need to do the next steps to create it. You take the track where you want the reversed reverb effect on,
Your rails, your thin,
reverse it, and add a reverb on it. Adjust the length of the reverb to taste and bounce the reverb track. Now reverse this again and align so the reversed reverb will be in front of the original audio.
Your rails, your thin paper wings.
Now if you're not happy with the results, you have to redo the entire process. And over until you have the result you want.
Your rails, your thin paper wings. Your thin paper wings in the wind dangling.
This is time consuming, and that is where Mirror will show its biggest strengths, which are the speed and the adjustability in which you can create this specific effect. To do all of this in one plugin seems like a conundrum. But JMG Sound, which is the developer of the Mirror plugin, has found a neat trick to get this effect to work. In order to let the reversed audio play before the actual audio happens, the plugin will report a false latency to your DAW. The DAW will then compensate for that fake latency and play the audio too early. Very clever. The plugin itself will create this sound on this vocoder vocal.
Your thin paper wings in the wind dangling. Your sun high, your window shattering.
The plugin sets its reverse delay based on the tempo of your project. And you have access to the next delays. A bar,
your rails, your thin paper wing.
half a bar,
Your rails, your thin
a quarter note,
paper wings. Your thin paper wings
and 1/8 of a note.
in the wind dangling.
I would actually love to see an option to have a free setting in milliseconds as well. Not every audio project is synced to the tempo. And I can also imagine you might want to play with the timings separate from the 4 timing presets. This false latency also has the side effect that your project will buffer to compensate for that false latency, which makes playing and stopping laggy and slow as well.
Your rails, your thin paper wings.
So if you have found the right settings, bounce the effect and disable the plugin. The manual also mentions that some DAWs like Logic and Bitwig have a latency limit. This means that when using longer buffer times, the dry and wet signals will fall out of sync, so be aware of that. You can adjust Mirror in a few ways. I already mentioned the delay settings. Trim will shave off the end of the reversed effect to soften the transition. Reverb will add a reverb before the whole reversing. So that basically does what I showed at the beginning of the video. Blur will literally soften transients with a short reverb. There are high and low pass filters to sculpt the effect and dry and wet mix controls.
The wind dangling, your sound fly.
So with these controls you can adjust the reversed effect. One way a reversed reverb delay effect is often used is to fade in to an audio track and not continuous like I showed before. To only have the effect on, in this case, the first words of a sentence, you need to either automate or edit a duplicate track, which I have done here. You need to edit with the reversing in mind, so you need to cut off the end of sentences. This will give you an effect like this.
You're thin, paper weight. You're real. You're thin, paper wings.
Let me play around with the settings.
In paper wings. Dangling. Your sound fly. Ring, you're real, you're thin, paper weight. You're real, you're thin, paper wings.
This sounds different and more open. Get creative to achieve the effect you want. I did find that the plugin sometimes introduces pop and click sounds. It seems to be dependent of where exactly on the grid the audio is. A bit of adjusting makes the sound more smooth. I don't know if this is a bug, to be honest. When you have found the sound you like, bounce the audio because of the latency I mentioned before. You can get Mirror via United Plugins, link is in the description below. The video which is on screen and also linked in the description will show you another intricate mixing trick done simply thanks to a plugin.